Welcome to the MudRoom, everyone. This is our weekly free and live Uncommon Sense parenting class. How's everybody today? I'm not gonna lie, today has kind of sucked so far. First of all, it snowed last night, and then the snow stayed. And not to get too TMI on you, but I have a lot of sinus issues, and whenever it precipitates, I get headaches. So I woke up with a headache. And then I wasn't anticipating the snow, which is ridiculous because it's mid-November. It was going to happen at some point. But I wasn't prepared for it to happen last night. So I was running around trying to get my son's snow gear together and get like his mittens on his mitten strings. I totally lost track of time. And the bus went by. So we totally missed it. So I ended up having to drive him to school, which really upset my youngest because he loves his big brother and he hates that big brother gets to go to school and he doesn't, even though he does go to preschool. So basically, my day started off in the most awful way I can imagine. I am not a morning person. My brain doesn't thaw until like 11 a.m. So it was just way too much activity for me at that particular time of day. So yeah. It hasn't been my best day. I've kind of been off since then, but the show must go on, and I'm excited to talk about this because I'm also generally really poor at planning ahead, and usually I think about these topics once it's kind of too late and y'all are in the thick of it. So tonight we're talking about setting our kids up for behavioral success this holiday season. Yay! Before we do that, though, let me introduce myself. My name is Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting effectiveness coach. I help parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners understand why their children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or using timeouts. So, is this working? Yes, okay. I just looked at my computer and the screen was black, and I was like, what just happened? Because that's how my day is going. Okay, say hi, y'all. Let me know you're here so that I don't have another heart attack. Okay, so, anyways, my oldest turned 6 this week, which is huge. It feels like such a big milestone. Like, I don't know. Probably because, like, my specialty is kids 2 to 6 years old, so it feels like he's going out of my wheelhouse. Slowly but surely. He's becoming a big kid, which is terrifying. But his birthday means that the holidays are coming fast and furious. As a Canadian, the passing of Remembrance Day has always signaled the start of the holiday season, but then I had Logan and he was born on the 14th, so now it's more of like a warning shot. It's coming the end of this week. So now, I'm starting to get into the mood. But I know for Americans, your Thanksgiving is coming up way faster, and that's your biggest travel time of the year for y'all. And for Canadians, it's Christmas. So no matter where you reside or what you celebrate, chances are you're in some kind of chaos over the next 2 months. So I thought before we are in the thick of it, we ought to chat about how to keep the goddess of consistency happy. Because if there's one thing that you ought to know after following me for any length of time, it is this. If you are inconsistent, you are screwed. There is no saving you. And it can be difficult to be consistent when there are things happening that happen literally never other than the holidays. Hey, Brittany! Thanks for joining me this evening. So hands up in the comments. Little informal poll here. Do you travel for American Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah or any other celebration? Or do you tend to stick closer to home? And if you do stick closer to home, do you still go visiting like in and around your area? Or do you literally stay home? Personally, I've done both. Growing up, we always spent Christmas at my Gammy's house. And then as I got older, we started to stay home. And then obviously once I moved out, I came home for Christmas when I was in school. But then my husband had to go and get us posted to Alberta. So it became a much bigger thing. We couldn't just like hop in the car and drive home anymore. Now we had a 4-hour flight, which when it comes to bringing presents there and back and, packing for 2 weeks, it becomes a huge pain. So Yeah, I hated that. And then we had Logan. And then 1 month after I gave birth, I was on a plane home. Luckily, by the time he turned 2, we'd been posted closer to home, so now we're back to either driving home or more frequently we have Christmas here at our house. So I've done it all, and I know just how uniquely difficult each of those things can be. I don't think that there's any easy when it comes to the holidays. They're all just a different kind of hard. Laura says they're traveling for nearly a week over Christmas. Oh no! May the force be with you. Like I think that's my worst nightmare. Brittany says 7-hour trip for Thanksgiving. Ugh. Brittany says she sticks closer to home, but we have about 5 Christmas celebrations. That's the other thing. Like, everybody's expecting you to go to everybody's dinner, everybody's celebration, and before you know it, you've got you've been in the car all day. But we can make it less hard if we aren't angering the goddess of consistency. There's no need to throw in behavioral stress on top of all the other kinds of stress the holidays bring. And maintaining consistency, no matter whether you're traveling or whether you're at home, is the key to keeping the status quo when it comes to behavior during the holidays. Because this isn't just stressful for us, it's stressful for them too. And by maintaining consistency, we're going to reduce that stress. So I have 3 main tips for maintaining consistency through the holidays, whether you're traveling or not. First is make everything mind-numbingly predictable. I'm talking to what feels like kind of a ridiculous level. I cannot tell you how many times parents have said to me, she knows that it's lights out after lights out, it's time to put her book away and go to sleep. But at Grandma's, she throws a massive fit. Why? Because it's a new situation. Children are excellent scientists. They recognize when there are new variables that have been thrown into the mix, and they have to test whether those variables affect what they know to be true. If I throw a fit at bedtime at Grandma's house, will Grandma or Grandpa come override Mom and Dad? Gotta test it. Can I eat tons of candy before dinner at Auntie's house when there's Christmas music playing? Gotta test it. We have been ripping paper all day. Does that mean that I can rip books now too? Gotta test it. We, as adults, have already tested these things. We know what variables change circumstances and accepted behavior expectations and which ones don't. And our children, as much as we love them, they are not us. They need to test them for themselves. Children are horrible at secondhand experiences. So by making things mind-numbingly predictable, we help them reduce the variables that need testing. Use visuals. Use a first-then board. It is going to be your best friend when it comes to unpredictable family gatherings. Just, first, then. Because you generally at least know what you're currently doing and what should be coming next. First we're opening presents, then we're going to eat. First we're going to go snowshoeing, then we're going to have hot chocolate. And I know it seems ridiculous, especially told you, it's that kind of day. Especially if you have 4, 5, 6-year-olds. But y'all, you cannot fly by the seat of your pants and then expect that your child will just adjust. That would be lovely. But it's not how children are built. Unpredictability means danger to them. It means they're using a lot more gas in their tank. So simplifying it makes it, and making it as predictable as possible, makes it safer. Brittany said that her celebrations are on different days, so it ends up being more like 2 weeks of Christmas. Oh, that's rough too, though. Christmas is fun because it's like 1 or 2 busy days and then it's done. It's not fun when it's 14 busy days. Okay, second tip. Don't go changing things during the holidays. Don't change foundational routines. It doesn't matter where my children are. Bedtime happens the exact same bloody way. They eat dinner, and then immediately after dinner, they have a bath or a shower. They read a book with an adult that is not me. I sing them songs, and they go to sleep. That is our bedtime routine, and it doesn't change. It doesn't matter if we're at home, if we're at my mom's, at Nana's, or we're on the moon. Bedtime always happens the exact same way. I can fudge the timing of it a bit at this point, but generally, no more than an hour. Don't mess with stuff like that. Don't throw in unpredictable crap like, okay, so now we've read our book. Time to go downstairs and say goodnight to everyone. No! Say goodnight before you start the routine. Routines are familiar and predictable. If you start messing with them, you're setting yourselves up for failure. Same with naps. Oh, naps. I know. Believe me, as someone who was a prisoner to their children's naps for a while, I know it sucks when you can only use half of your day. But if you have a sensitive napper, don't go fucking with their naps. Sorry, Auntie. If you want to get together at 1 p.m., we're going to have to do it at our house because Junior naps in the afternoon. Or, sure, we would love to come in for the afternoon, but Junior needs a nap at 1 p.m. Is there a quiet room that we can set up his playpen in? Don't mess with it. If your child is used to sleeping in the dark with white noise and a sleep sack and a Seuss and his lovey, don't mess with that. Bring it all. I had so many people who were shocked when I would nap my child somewhere else and they were like, oh wow, you brought everything. I was like, well, yes, I can't just dump him in a playpen in a strange room and expect that he's just going to roll over and go to sleep. That's not consistent. I highly recommend the snooze shade for those of you who have kiddos who will sleep in playpens because it's a lot easier to black out the playpen than to black out a whole room, especially when you don't know what the layout of the room or the number of windows in the room are. Keep conditions the same as possible. Is basically the gist of it. If you use a visual timer, usually throughout your normal day, and you always set a visual timer to let them know when dinner is or how long that they have to play before you leave. Keep that going during the holidays. It always floors me when parents say, oh, well, we usually use a timer to warn them about leaving somewhere, but we forgot it and we didn't because it was the holidays. No! You should be doubling down on the timer because it's the holidays. We want to keep things as consistent as possible. So if you have these things in place, don't mess with them. Laura says, any leeway for a child not staying in bed because they're uncomfortable sleeping in a new place? No. Like, you can empathize with them, but for the most part, by time they're going to bed, they should have had time to check out their sleeping quarters. And this kind of leads into my second thing here, where we're going to prepare them as much as possible. So tip 3 is prepare them as much as possible. Social stories are fantastic for this, okay? And this would be a perfect place to use a social story, is if they're sleeping in a strange place. Anytime that they have something or an expectation that they have to meet, they basically never have to meet except for this one situation, use a social story for it. Personally, the favorite one that I have is called We're Going to Visit Someone Old. And as the story basically goes, we're going to visit someone old. Their house is full of breakable things. It's not set up for kids. Old people get very frustrated and offended when you touch their things. I will not touch their things without asking first. If I need to move my body in a big way, I will ask mom or dad to take me outside. I will use walking feet in their home. I will say please and thank you. I will talk loudly so that they can hear me. If I don't want to hug them or shake their hand, I can say no thank you. I can ask mom and dad where the bathroom is if I need to pee or poop. Visiting old people makes them very happy, but I have to have a calm body while we do it. That's the story. And we read it 3 to 4 times before going to visit anyone over the age of about 70. My grandpa's 103. My husband's grandparents are in their late 80s. It's not something that we do super frequently. So every time we do it, I need to remind them of the expectations before we go. And by writing it into a simple story like that, it helps them remember it. It's easy for them to review it on their own, and it's easy to set the exact same expectations every single time we go. We have ones for how to behave in a church, how to behave when opening presents, how to find out where the bathroom is in an unfamiliar place, what to do with food that we don't want to eat when we're visiting someone, how to let mom and dad know that you're getting tired, how to behave on an airplane, how to go to sleep in an unfamiliar place, right? Etc., etc., etc. I probably have about 30 of them that pertain to expectations that we don't have to meet very often. And as I said, it just helps because it's consistency. It's a lot easier to memorize when there's pictures and words that are in the exact same order every single time. And social narratives are something that my Parentability members get every month. Every month I add 4 new visuals, and often those are social stories. So you can just go in there, find one that meets your needs, and print it off. And Emma, I just saw you message me on my own messenger just now. Yes, I will add the old people story to the library for November. So as you can probably tell, seeing as my members are messaging me actively, the second I mention one of them, they're something that my members love and they see amazing results with. A lot of my new members think they're really stupid. They're very resistant to them. They don't want to use them at first until they try one, and then angels start singing because it works so well. So those are my top 3 tips for weathering the holidays without pissing off the goddess of consistency. If you can do those 3 things, make everything mind-numbingly predictable, don't go messing with existing routines, and prepare them for expectations, you're going to have the best holiday season you can possibly have. Laura, the other thing I was just thinking of is that when you vary from something like an established bedtime routine, what you're unintentionally communicating to your child is that they are not safe. So yes, they might give you a little bit of pushback. They might be, again, testing the boundaries to see, this is a new variable. How does this change what I already know? But if you change what they already know, suddenly they feel scared, right? They can't predict what's coming next. So they're in a state of fear. Whereas if you stick to the same routine that they've always done, even if they're not super happy about it, what you're communicating to them is that this is the same as home. You are just as safe here as you are at home, and everything that you do at home is true here too. So again, we just reduce those variables that they need to test. Laura says, oof, good point. Yeah, we have to be very careful when we're dealing with children that are boundary pushing, that we don't want to unintentionally communicate to them that they're not actually safe. Because when we change the boundaries, that suddenly throws them into the ocean. I did there's another episode that I did. I can go find it afterwards and give you the link on consistency in general. And that's generally how I explain it. It's like being in a pool versus being dumped into the ocean. As soon as we stop being consistent, we dump them into the ocean. As I said, I don't guarantee that you won't have a meltdown or two. The holidays are really stressful, but you will drastically reduce the meltdowns both in severity and frequency if you can stay consistent. So if you need support with that, you can always join us in the Parenting Posse, which is my free peer support Facebook group. Or if you want to access my visuals library along with all the other goodies that my members get, come and join us in Parentability. You will get them right away. All right. that is it. Do you think you can pull off these 3 things this holiday season? Does it give you some ideas of things that you might need to get in place now so that it's not so rushed and crazy when the time comes? Let me know in the comments. I know things like social stories, when I start talking about visuals and social stories, people are like, those things take planning, and that's why we're talking about it now, not in 2 weeks. Because if you can plan for failure, then if you fail to plan, you're planning for failure. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. That's it. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I will see you next week for another Uncommon Sense Parenting class. Bye.